Good afternoon, everybody. Ben Woody, Assistant City Manager for the City of Asheville. So I have a lot of information to share today, so this is going to be a fairly extensive briefing. I understand that a lot of people aren't able to see the videos and the images that we're going to share today, but we think if you're able to do that at some point, the videos and still photos that we're going to share should be instructive in helping to better understand the damage that we've received at this system. So I'm trying to make sure our videos are going to work, and they don't appear to be. Here we go. I'm sorry. So let's get started. So what I want to show the community is I want to demonstrate, number one, the damage that we have sustained at our water treatment plants. I'm really going to focus on the North Fork treatment plant, but I'm also going to show some examples of the damage that was sustained to our distribution system, and I'm going to show how quickly some of that work is being completed. So I'm going to kind of ground everybody. The North Fork water treatment plant is our principal treatment plant. It's really the workhorse of our water system. So North Fork, quite frankly, it can power the entire water system. So we can run the whole system off just North Fork, but it's responsible for 80% of our water system. So I'm going to come back to that in a little bit. So this is a priority.
I apologize for the interruptions to this broadcast. We are having some technical difficulties here at our Emergency Operations Center, but I will reintroduce Ben Woody so he can resume the presentation where he left off at the North Fork Reservoir.
Okay, thank you again, Ben Woody. I'm going to really just pick up where I was at. So we are talking about the North Fork water treatment plant. Again, today we have videos and still footage. I know everybody can't see that, so I'm going to try to explain that as we start. But I want to ground us a little bit. So again, North Fork water treatment plant can provide water to our entire Asheville water system. Typically, it's going to provide water to about 80% of the system, and that's connected to what Mills River does, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But I want to get started. We are looking at a video that is a still now, but so we're going to start on September 30th. So September 30th was Monday, and that's a few days after the storm. And Monday was when we were finally able to get crews to our water distribution plant and equipment. So the first 2 days after the storm, we used that time, Public Works did, and water, to clear debris and to get access to this property and this distribution system. We have a primary 36-inch and 24-inch line that comes out of the North Fork system. Those two lines were washed away in 2004. They were washed away again in this storm, and we expect that. That doesn't surprise us. What you're looking at on this frame right now is a alternate or a redundant line that was installed. We'll call it a bypass water line as redundancy for another storm event that came. So I'll note this line, this 36-inch bypass water line, this was installed and engineered based on what happened in 2004. So this was built to be able to withstand, and I almost can't believe I'm saying this, a typical hurricane event. This 36-inch bypass water line, this one line, if we can get this back in service, it can provide water to 80% of the Asheville water system. So this is a priority repair for us at this time. For those that can see this image, what I would draw your attention to is on the upper right of the frame, you can see our drone operator. He's wearing a yellow vest. So again, that gives you a little bit of context of the damage that was done. And of course, this line was underground. So the red line, I'm now displaying a red line across the top of the creek bed. So this is normally a creek bed that our spillway spills into. Prior to this storm, you could go out there and with your shoes on, you and I, we could walk across this creek bed. So it's not a river, it's a creek bed. It doesn't even have a substantial amount of water in it at all times. So And I'm going to show another image, and this is our drone operator. Again, this gives you a little bit of context. This is Mark, and he's probably about 6 feet tall. So what you see is this event washed away almost 25 feet of earth. So again, I want to reiterate that pipe was 25 feet in the ground. That earth is gone. So what we're showing you now is what we call catastrophic damage to this bypass water line. And you see how large the pipe is. This gives context too. We might be able to fit Mark in part of that pipe even. And again, we have a picture of a kind of a typical human being stacked on top of another, so you can just see the damage that this storm did to this portion of the water system. And of course, the pipes I previously referenced, they're gone. I don't know that we've even found those yet. So I'm going to show another picture. So that is we don't have the correct images and video stills up, so I'm gonna do my best, or maybe we have a more recent version. I apologize for this, but I'll talk about North Fork. So what I will say is the pictures we initially showed that showed the damage, they were from Monday, September 30th, and I do have a picture, and I'll verbally talk about this, that will show you what the restoration to that water line looks like on October 3rd. So again, within 3 days, we have been able to make substantial progress on repairing that bypass line. And the picture that I hope I can show, what it will do is show you how we've been able to restore that line. And the one thing that we're doing is we're going to put an elbow in, and that's going to bury that line even deeper than it was. So we had it 25 feet under the ground. As we repair it, because we want to repair it to last, it's going to be more than 25 feet into the ground. And we're going to armor that line. So we're going to provide additional bracing. And so what will then happen is that 25-foot gorge that you basically saw, once the pipe work is done for the bypass line, that will then be backfilled. So we'll put that 25 feet of earth back. And where we'll be is with a transmission line that's functional. Now, of course, we don't have to have all the backfill in place in order for the water line to be functional. So that line, as of October 3rd, was more than underway in terms of its repairs. And I'm going to pause for a second. Are we able to get the other? Okay. And if you can't, that's okay. I'll work with what we have. So. So what I'm going to do to maximize our time, I'm going to use this minute while we get the video and the stills up to talk about our Mills River water treatment plant. So I'm going to go to the end. So Mills River, that is our treatment plant that services South Asheville, South Buncombe County, and portions of North Henderson County. We have really good news on that plant. So that plant, its raw water intakes and pumps are fully functional. So we have our Mills River plant up and running. It is fully functional. If you remember a few days ago, it was reduced capacity, 2 or 3 million gallons per day. We are producing 5 million gallons per day out of our Mills River water treatment plant. We have charged the system, or at least near the plant, we have a pressure of 160 PSI, and that's what it needs to be. So it's operating at the pressure and the capacity that it needs to. That's great news, but I want to also give the caveat that the best that Mills River can do is provide water to about 20% of our water system. So we've got about 20% of the water system in water. We still got a ways to go. And we actually have, for that, we have our lab staff that is actively right now out sampling the water. We have to sample the water, get bacteria testing, and that is our process in order to return that system to potable water. I can't give you a timeline because that is dependent on the result of that sampling. And I think it's a pretty rigorous test before we can say it's potable. So we're back. That's what I want. Yep. So I'm going to finish Mills River. So we have made tremendous progress with Mills River. I'm going to show you a map. We're going to come back to that. So we're kind of jumping around a little bit, but you know, and again, I'll talk about that a little more, but we've made great progress with the Mills River water treatment plant. So for those that can see, we're going to shift back to North Fork. So if you remember, the original image and video that I showed was 2 days after our crews were able to get there and began the repairs. I'm going to back up one. So that's where we were on September 30th, a 25-foot, I don't know if it's a ravine, it's just a lot of earth is gone. So this is what it looks like on October 3rd. And what you can see is the process of putting the 36-inch distribution water main back together. You see large equipment there moving pipes and installing those. And again, we're going to install that deeper than it was, and we're going to armor it and make it more durable for the future. And you can even see they're beginning to backfill. So we're returning this to what it was prior to Tropical Storm Helene arriving. So that's an important connection for our community. If we can get that 36-inch bypass water line reconstructed, we're going to be able to get water from North Fork Water Treatment Plant into the distribution system. But I'll caution, and I'll show you this in a minute, we have a lot of work to do on the distribution system, and we still have to be able to treat the water from the North Fork Reservoir. So the next image that I'm going to show is actually a video. And so we also, directly from North Fork Water Treatment Plant, we have an 8-inch line that provides water to Black Mountain. So that's another priority for us. What you can see on this video is significant erosion. Again, I remind everybody, these pipes were buried in the ground. So this is the amount of erosion that we experience for a water distribution system. And what you see, the people that can see this, is we have a crew from the city of Greensboro. This is September 30th, right? So this is 2 days. As soon as we could get access, we had a crew from the city of Greensboro repairing that 8-inch line to Black Mountain. And I do want to thank Mayor Nancy Vaughn and Water Resources Department Head Mike Borchers. They called us, I don't even know if the storm had stopped yet, ready to send us support. So this is another municipality in North Carolina that are here rebuilding this line for us. This line, I'll have a shot later. This line is substantially rebuilt. They're backfilling it. So we've made great progress with this 8-inch line, at least from the section from North Fork moving towards Black Mountain. And of course, Black Mountain, they're making their repairs from Black Mountain towards North Fork. So again, this is September 30th, so we're still on Monday. And for those that can see, you can see these are employees that are waist deep in water and mud. They're soaking wet, and this is what the work looks like to restore these water lines. It's hard, grueling, dirty work. So that's where we're at with North Fork. So what I want to do is take a minute to talk about the distribution system. Because again, we have to get water out of North Fork, but we have to get it into the distribution system. So what we're looking at here is a drone video. This is along Old US 70 at Whitson Avenue Bridge. We're starting at Whitson Avenue Bridge where it crosses the Swananoa River. And this is the old US 70 roadbed. This is September 30th. So this is that Monday when we got there. When we could get there, this is what it looked like. Not only are the water lines gone, but the road's gone, the roadbed's gone. So this is where we started. And I'm going to let this video just run. And so for those that can't see this, we're moving from Whitson Avenue Bridge along Old US 70, and we are moving west towards Asheville. These water lines along this roadbed are major east-west connectors for our water system. We have to get these water lines established to get water to Asheville. And you can see the condition, what most of the road was destroyed. What little is left is having to be removed. The rest of it, we had actually finished demolishing it. So you have to remove everything at first. You see the debris. So what you're seeing right now looking west is the work that's occurring. This is a combined effort from NCDOT and the contractors that the city contracted with. So all these crews were mobilized on Monday. And we're turning the drone and we're going to go back east towards the Whitson Avenue Bridge. And again, for those that are listening, I can only say that the destruction is severe, and you can imagine what it's going to take to rebuild this. And our drone is going to begin to move back towards Whitson Avenue Bridge. So we're moving east. And you can see, we see equipment that's removing debris and stacking it. Then that's got to get taken off this roadbed. And we're going to do this all the way to Asheville. And then we're not working just in this location. We're working all along this location. You see some workers there. I'm sure they're just taking a break. But that pipe you see, that is old pipe. That is destroyed. It's not usable. It has to be removed. And you can see as we move towards the bridge, look at the level of destruction that exists. And this is because that water, when it gets to the bridge, it chokes. And when it comes out of that choke point, it speeds up in velocity and it just rips the road and the earth away. All that has to be rebuilt before we can even think about putting water lines in. And again, this is September 30th, and you can just see the level of destruction that exists. But I have good news. This is 2 days later. It's remarkable, actually. So again, we have a drone that is flying east towards the Whitson Avenue Bridge. And I'm going to let this loop for a second so you can see the progress that was made in 2 days. You see new water line laying on the ground. We were able to get materials here that quickly. And what the public, if you can't see, what we're seeing is a lot of the debris has been removed and we're seeing the reconstruction of that roadbed. Again, we've got to get the roadbed built and stabilized before we can begin to install new pipe. And I just real quick, the city of Asheville has 1,800 miles of water line pipe. Not all that's damaged. So a lot of it isn't, but some of it is. If we were to lay that pipe end to end, it would go to Miami and back again. So when we repressurize this water system, we have to pressurize 1,800 miles of pipe and fill every storage tank we have, which I believe is close to 42. So we've got to fill all that with water and pressurize it. So I'm going to move to the next slide. I have a series of stills. I'm going to show you 3 still images. So this is at the Whitson Avenue Bridge. We're looking west, and you can see new pipe being delivered and contractors, as they build the roadbed, beginning to place and install that pipe. This is 24-inch water line. This is critical. So we're still on October 2nd. And you see they're having to do this through the debris that exists. This is the next image. You see that debris is beginning to be removed. And you see the roadbed is beginning to be reconstructed, which allows us to put the pipe in. If you look to the right where the person is walking, that's a portion of the old roadbed. So that's kind of where we need to get to. I'm going to go to the next still. And this is looking east across the Whitson Avenue Bridge. And again, what you see here is we've gotten the road, the earth is to a point where it is even with the original roadbed. So this is October 3rd, right? So we are now 3 days out from the first drone video that I've shown you, and you can see what this looks like. And where you see the fresh soil that's kind of leveled off, that is where pipe has been backfilled. That pipe doesn't have water in it yet, but it is ready to receive water. And we're going to do a couple more stills from October 3rd. Actually, we have a video, I'm sorry. So I'm going to let this run a little bit. So we are 3 days out. I'm going to let everyone see what the progress was in 3 days. The drone is flying from Whitson Avenue Bridge west towards Asheville. You can see the reconstruction of the roadbed, the stabilization of the bank. These are NCDOT crews, as well as crews that the city contracted with. And you can see the progress that's being made. Again, a lot of the debris is out of the way, the new pipes getting laid down and prepared for installation. So for those that can't see this, I apologize, but for those that can, you can see the tremendous amount of progress that was made in 3 days. Another still image from October 3rd. Again, this is looking west. Now you can see the entire old road bed is removed and we're building the new road bed back up. Same day, October 3rd, and you can see now we have the debris removed. And if you remember how severe that erosion and damage was as we approached that bridge in one of the original drone shots. So for those that can't see, I think you would describe the progress in 3 days as absolutely remarkable. Again, I've got another still image. It just kind of shows the connection to the bridge, getting us off old US 70 towards Interstate 40. And that brings me to where I was going to talk. So that really, I think what I've just shown you is just a small example of the scale of damage that occurred in our major transmission lines that get from the from the North Fork Water Treatment Plant to the city of Asheville. And again, we are not working in just one section, we are working in all the sections. So this is just a example of what we're having to do. I did talk about the Mills River Water Treatment Plant, and for those that can't see, what we're displaying now is a map of our water system. I highly encourage you not to go try and find your street on this map. This is approximate. Water does what it wants to do. So there's no way that I can tell you exactly where the water is. But what you see on this map is we have an area that is shaded in blue. That is Mills River. We feel very confident about getting water into that part of the system, pressurizing it and testing it and trying to find a time when it's safe to be potable again. I cannot give you a timeline on when it will be potable, but just know we are making good progress. But also need folks, or everybody listening and folks that can see, we have a lot of work to do to return water to what is basically 80% of the Asheville water system. And with that, I'm concluded. And again, I do want to thank our public works crews, NCDOT, our contractors, and our water department who are doing this work every day. Thank you.